Once again, guys, so we have I got I'm gonna do a crossover video. I got my silver buddy Haley with me.
Hey!
So what I want to do is, last time I did the closed mouth and of the King Eider, and so here's that. Went over putting the writing in there, the piece of paper for identification, and then nice. Came out really nice, so it'll last. And actually, I've got four already made. One being a smaller lobe, and one being
More bigger.
one being a bigger. So, because one of them was a smaller one. So what? And also, what I want to do is, so since I use a lot of silicone on those two, I got a little bit left, and then I have this. So, the other option I wanted to show was once you get your silicone kind of base coat down, while the details with the brush, then you can come in, because the only thing that'll stick to this, the silicone, is the like Alex Plus clear white caulk, whatever. So you have to use that. But so with open mouth, the main thing is it's the same process. Start with the nose, so you get the detail in there, and then just kind of rub around the bill, kind of like what we did for the last one. And then it's the difference here is you start at the bottom because you want to fill it up where it starts to work its way up through the top. So then you're just going to fill up the
mouth more.
Yeah.
Because with closed mouths, you only have to go around.
So you mainly want to fill it up from the sides so it kind of spills out. So it's kind of getting as many air bubbles and stuff like that out of there. Because if you go in from the sides and it's pushing it around,
then you're gonna have more on the other side.
So the main thing too on the open mouth is you're gonna have to make a different kind of cut, because with the closed mouth, it's no big deal to get you make the cut like I described last time. You make the cut along the bottom, and then you can pull it out. This one for an open mouth, you have to do the cut down the bottom to like the V that I said last time, and then you also have to do a cut along the top. So you have to do the cut almost to where it meets the bill, ideally, and then that way when you're opening it up, because you try to open it from the bottom on an open mouth, there's just so much else that's stuck in there because it's open and there's that plastic going all the way in. You really have to have a top cut. So I'm going to do it just like last time. I'm really focused on the bill more than the
head.
Yeah, more than the head. And then there's my brush. So then I'm just gonna...
I think it is cool, the texture that silicone is.
Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, it's cool that you can get, the ones that I make the pink molds with. They it's just more expensive, and I don't know if you've ever seen me do that, but
no,
with those you have to kind of like create like a barrier around the head because it's real thin, and you have to pour it and kind of keep corralling it. And silicone's nice because it's thick, and it's like once you get it on where you need it, it
stays there.
Yeah, it stays there. It's not like that RTV that or that pink stuff. Even though the pink stuff is better, makes more details,
But
and
you don't have to use a popsicle stick or something to spread it out than a paintbrush.
Yeah, and I just do this because I want to make sure that I get all the little details, every little tooth and every little
so I'll end
wrinkle.
Up with the other one.
Yeah, and the other one, I mean, like I said, if you look at the heads,
it has really detailed curves and stuff.
I mean, it's got great. I dremeled them too today, but it's got great detail.
I know, because
silicone's not, you get a few rough spots like on this part of the head because it's wet, and when you're rubbing it on, it kind of tends to want to fall off.
Because it doesn't have something to cling onto.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't have something to grab onto, so then it's kind of like, well, but at the same time, it's like, who cares? Because then once you're sanding it with the Dremel,
it'll all go away.
Yeah, it goes away in 2 seconds, and then, so I'm just to the head, and then, like I said, then I'm going to try to use some of the white, the caulk on there for the once this outer layer of silicone is all good, then I'm going to use the white stuff to come in and thicken it. And so the main thing I wanted to show in the open mouth was real similar to closed mouth. It's just the cut's going to be different. You kind of want to go bottom up. Always be kind of filling that in so it pops out the other side. And I think that's all my silicone there.
I think it's looking pretty good so far.
So
Just spread it out.
that's all my silicone, which is fine because that was kind of the whole point. I mean, you can't really use, and that's another thing too. But you can't do the reverse of this. You can't do like the caulk and then I don't know, the caulk just doesn't it rips real easy. So if you're trying to do details on the head, well, I mean just the head in general with so many details, and that's where there's a lot of pressure when you're taking it out of the mold because of the teeth and the angles. I've noticed with the kings especially that big old lobe right there, getting it when you're popping it back out does make it a little more difficult. But anyway, with the caulk, it would just rip, and I've tried it before, and it just rips so much. I mean, maybe you get, if you're doing like one pull, you want to do one single kind of deal, probably doesn't matter. But if I'm going to go through all the trouble to to do a king eider mold, or to do a redhead scalp hybrid, or green wing legend hybrid, or whatever, if I'm going to go through all that trouble,
Also, it's probably
I at least want to be able to make make a few. I don't have to make as many as the RTV where I'm making a ton. But so I'm gonna pause it for a second, get the paper ready for the open mouth, just so we can get that marked. And then as this kind of stiffens, then we'll put the caulk around the rest of it.
Ooh.
And that should be about it. So
It's good. Amazing.
be right back.
Bye. We are back.
We're back. So I got that all set with the King Drake open mouth, L for large lobe, just so I know. And so yeah, I mean it's just like I'll go around this area. Obviously I was just thinking about that with this white caulk, but since I got most of the detail and everything, I should be able to go kind of around this area pretty quick. I don't really want to necessarily rub it into the areas where I have silicone because it doesn't really mix that well. It does stick to each other, which is nice, but it's certainly more of it'll stick to each other, but if you try to mix it,
It's like
it's like we were talking about earlier. It's just then the parts that are the caulk are just going to rip, and then you're going to have a mold that where all the teeth or the nose, the nostrils just rip out, and then it looks like crap. So, but
Yeah.
this stuff's a little thinner, takes a little bit longer to dry, so that's why I'm not really using. I'm not going to do like too thick of a coat.
or like do all the details for the lobe and the mouth.
I guess I need to. Dang
Kind
it.
of spread it. Like I was saying, for an example, it's kind of like how you can mix all the colors in the rainbow, but it'll only make brown.
Well, I covered up the lobe sign, whatever. It's
All good.
yeah. It's just it's like this is the easiest one of all of them to. I don't even really want to mess with it honestly because this is the easiest one of all of them to tell what it is, and obviously it's a king eider. Obviously it's open mouth, and I'll figure out what I'm gonna use it for. I just wanted to have it kind of
All done.
well, the customers really wanted just they requested regular poses, dead mounts, flying,
Crazy stuff.
well, just kind of normal, cool stuff.
Huh.
So as far as open mouth goes, I'm just thinking like one day I'd really like to go hunt some king eiders, and if I ever get to go, I'll have a mold. It's like while I'm making molds, I got them all sitting out. I might as well take advantage of it, and so if I ever or if another customer, because I have like I think I have
King Eiders are so
a
pretty.
dozen. I know they're real pretty. I got like we got a dozen to do this year, and I think there should be some more coming. Yeah, so
Ooh.
got a lot of them to do, and I'm sure I'll throw an open mouth in there for somebody, for one of them, just to kind of something cool. Because most of the guys, they go and shoot 4, because you're allowed 4 per season for non-resident. So each person can shoot 4 King Eiders or 4 Old Squaw a season. But that's all they can shoot is 4. So for me, having the other sea ducks, then I'm pretty much just going for that one bird, which is, fine. But anyway, almost everybody that, goes up there, they mount every one that they get, which is, understandable. Kind of like people shoot cinnamon tills in Texas, and just about every one of them gets mounted, regardless of the plumage. But anyway, so that's it. I'm glad I got to show. Like I said, the open mouth. The difference is, I wanted to show what we had kind of cooking on the stuff from the last video with these molds, and then I wanted to show. I know. Let's just get it. Don't touch it. And then I wanted to show, kind of how this one came out.
Has the little indents for the lobes.
How to do the marker for this. Like I said, for that one, it's open mouth king. I mean, I know exactly which one it is, but so we got that. Head's made. Everything's dremeled. Notch in the back. Eyes 9/16 dremeled out. 3/4 in the back of the head for the bigger ones. A couple cinnamon tills, a harlequin pair, and so some really cool stuff. So like I said, on this one, if you have all silicone, use that. I don't really anticipate using this because as long as the base is silicone, it'll keep the details, and it'll be harder for it to rip out or take longer. And then but it just adds support to it. So as you're taking it off, if it's too thin, it's like it'll just rip. And once it starts ripping, it's never ending. It's like a crack in your windshield. It's just going to get bigger and worse before anything. And like I said, with the cut, with the open mouth, you're going to want to cut along the top. This is an old open mouth mallard. So it's got cut along the top, cut along the bottom. And so then that way, once it's mounted, just because there's so much surface area that's got material on it, like all this stuff in the middle, there's so much surface area that you're having to wiggle out and pull away, that if you just had a bottom cut and you were trying to pull that, I mean, I guess you could, especially if you use like a spray mold release. I don't like those just because it makes it really hard for the paint to stick because it's so shiny and glossy. I like, just baby powder.
Has like a liquidy.
Yeah, and
texture.
Baby powder I like. And on the open mouth, it's just like a incision along the top. It just makes everything so much easier, and it has zero bearing on the end result because you end up with the seam, and you're going to be sanding it, either way, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, so that's it. So I got to paint. I'm gonna do a couple cinnamons tomorrow, and I got to obviously get some of these kings going. Everything in this batch, and I'm gonna try to show some of that, like on the kings and cinnamons. Do how to do clay work on the head. Maybe like we talked about earlier, doing taping the wings on the flying bird.
Yeah.
Carding them.
The
Injecting the feet. How I prep it to paint. There's a ton of stuff to still do, but
the eyes and stuff.
Yeah, eyes and bill but anyway, I got everything dremeled real well, and that's about it. So that's how you make a mold for any species. This is a King Eider, obviously. That's how you make a mold with silicone and regular caulk, and that's it. So time to wrap it up.